You've tuned in to Just Wag with Melody. We have seen Cape Coast Castle, we have seen Elmina Castle, and today we are here to tour Osu Castle. This is a castle that is rarely talked about, but it's located right here in Accra. Let's start this tour. Osu Castle, also known as Fort Christiansburg, is a historic fort located in Osu, a district in Accra, Ghana, perched right on the Atlantic coast. Osu Castle was built by the Danes in 1659. The castle was originally constructed by Danish merchants in 1659 and named Fort Christiansburg after the King of Denmark. It became a major center for Danish trade, including the transatlantic slave trade. Interestingly enough, the castle changed ownership multiple times. From 1659 to 1850 was the Danish rule. It was then sold to the British in 1850, becoming a key part of the British Gold Coast colony. From the late 19th century until Ghana's independence in 1957, Osu Castle served as the seat of government under British colonial rule. After Ghana gained independence in 1957, Osu Castle became the presidential residence and seat of government. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, used the castle for administrative functions. It remained Ghana's government seat until 2009, when the Jubilee House, Flagstaff House, officially became the new presidential palace. Osu Castle is now a historical site. Though still under some level of governmental control, it's not always open to the public. But efforts have been made to preserve its legacy and recognize its role in both the colonial era and the slave trade. Osu Castle holds deep historical, political, and emotional weight. It's a symbol of Ghana's colonial past, the transatlantic slave trade, the resilience of Ghana independence and leadership. The castle was not originally built for the slave trade and had to be reconstructed accordingly. It initially served as a hub for local trading, including gold, mirrors, guns, and a host of other things. But then the agenda changed from trading items to people. Though slavery is not our beginning, it is a part of our story. Those taken captive and brought here to Osu Castle found themselves in the Caribbean islands. That includes Jamaica and the likes.
So we have one of the dungeons here, and we have 12 of this facility in this castle. And this is one of them, and this is used by the male slaves. And they were in the number of 60 here and 60 here. Always in chains and shackles, because they always lock the door, so they get their ventilation from here. And at the top here, this is where they get their food from. They put their food in a sack, then they drop it in the middle here. So wherever you find yourself, you have to manage and get something to eat. So if you cannot come here, it means you have to be wherever you are, and you'll be hungry and become weak. And so a lot of them don't get food to eat because the food was not even enough to take care of you. It's something that will sustain you for some time. So because they don't get the food to eat, they become weak, and a lot of them die in the dungeon here. So this is why we have this in the memory of those who died in the dungeon here. So after that, when you die, the government will come for your body. I put it in a sack, then they add a cannon to it, become heavier, then they drop it into the sea. We have this facility also. We call it the water storage system of the castle.
Here is where they collected and stored rainwater to use within the castle.
So in 1753, a governor came to the castle called Carl Eggman, and he was a doctor and was most concerned about the health of the people at the castle. So when he came, he noticed that the place was not protected because there was no structure, even the structure on it. It was just the reservoir without any structure. The mosquitoes were coming out of the place. Even 4 of the governors died here as a result of malaria. So when he came, he decided to put up to lock up the place and put up this structure on it. So for them not to use it anymore. One of the female dungeons, where the female slaves were kept without the structures. Yeah, the structure was put up after Ghana got independence to pack some of the items to use in the castle, and later on those items were taken to the National Museum. So this is one of the female dungeons. So the female were here in number of 30 here and 30 inside.
My name, they stripped that from me. My village, my mother's tongue, the scent of morning smoke from cooking fires, all taken. Now I am just one of the women held in the belly of the white man's castle. Osu, they call it. Christianburg, they say. But there is no God here. We are kept in a stone room deep beneath the castle, where the sea air does not reach. The walls sweet with dampness and the floor is cold. We sit pressed together like cattle, our skin against skin, some with sores, some too weak to stand. At night, the cries of the others echo, women mourning their children, calling out to ancestors who cannot hear us through these cursed walls. They come for us, the men with pale faces and greedy eyes. They choose us like meat, pull us into their chambers where no prayers can protect us. I have died 1,000 times in that room and lived to wake up again in chains. We are not women here. We are not human. We are bodies traded, touched, tormented. Above us, the cannons point outward toward the sea, but they do not protect us. They guard the trade, the boats, the buyers, the gold. The ships wait like vultures. I've seen some taken, chained at the neck and ankles to the door of no return. Their eyes meet ours for one last time, and then the sea swallows them. But I remember the drum. I remember the feel of red clay between my toes when I danced as a girl under the baobab tree. I remember my grandmother's voice telling stories to our people, strong, proud, chosen by the spirits. And though they try to silence it, that memory hums like a quiet song in my bones. I do not know if I will leave this place alive, but I speak now. For the women whose names were stolen, whose wombs were wounded, whose spirits were shackled but never broken. I speak so you will remember us, not as property, not as shadows, but as mothers, daughters, warriors, stolen from the land but never from the truth of who we are.
This castle was used as the seat of government of Ghana. That's why we have the coat of arms of Ghana at the top, freedom and justice. As you can see, the staircase is divided into three. The middle one is only used by the governors. If you are a governor or a president, whoever has walked or come into this castle as a president or governor, always use the middle staircase by climbing or getting down. And the side is used by the other people. So if you are not a governor, you are not allowed to use the middle staircase. But if you are governor or president, you use, and the side used by the other people. So if you check on our 50 CD notes, you see the picture of this staircase on it.
And then we were invited to take either section going up, and I chose the middle row. This walk was symbolic to reclaiming everything that was stolen from us.
So I welcome you to the Queen's Room, or the room of the royals. So, as we all know, Ghana got independence in 1957. And on 6 March 1957, that is when Ghana got independence and became a Republic of Ghana in 1960. 1st July 1960, that's when Ghana became a Republic. So 1 year later, in 1961, Queen Elizabeth II of England was in Ghana to hand over power to the new government led by Kwame Nkrumah. So prior to her arrival, or before she arrived from England, all the furniture we are seeing in this room was imported from England. So the bed, the lights, the wardrobe, everything, we only changed the tiles so that the place will look nice. So all the curtains,
You put the curtains? They put the curtains?
Everything that we are seeing here was imported from England.
Oh, wow.
before the queen came. So when the queen came, she slept on this bed or in this very room for 11 nights or 11 days. And the corridor here is where she has been taking fresh air in the evening after a very hard day work.
And then we were invited to church, the very place where brainwashing of our people began.
I welcome you to St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, which was put up by the Portuguese in 1679 when they took over the castle, because they believed that the Africans don't know God and they are the people introducing God to them or to us. So if you go to Osu Castle or Elmina Castle, they always put up a church at the top of a dungeon. So downstairs is the female dungeon. So that's what they do, and they only have, or they are the only people who can explain why they always put up a church at the top of a dungeon.
I was so excited when I heard the story of the cook that worked here in the castle. He stood up and took back the castle, slaughtered all of the governors that were here so that he can take charge. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the part of the story where we actually win. But then it was like all of my emotions was quickly demolished when I heard that he actually became a part of the problem instead of solving it. And I'm just like, why does that always have to be our history again and again and again? It's all too often that we become a part of the problem instead of helping to solve the problem. And I get it, like he was in a situation where his back was against the wall, because if he would have came to do the right thing, they probably would have came for his head. But I just feel like if that's the case and that's your mentality, then why even step up to do anything at all? You could have just stayed a cook and been silent about it. But again, he had his own agenda in mind, and that was to make his own pockets fat.
Christian Castle or Osu Castle. Christian Borg, which means Christian fortress or Christian stone. So these are the stones that were used to build the castle. That's why we call it Christian stone castle or Christian fortress. So these are the stones. And the journey is always in triumph. When the ship leave West Africa, with the slaves, they go to the Caribbean. From the Caribbean, you go to Europe, come back with this stone, then come to West Africa. So it was always a triangle with the ship.
They were like continuously building the castle while already using it.
Yes, that's why I said at a point in time, they always add addition to you when space was needed. So because they did not build this castle at once. As for the Elmina, it just took 11 years. But here, it started in 1659, and even after 1957, that's where they put up this one. This very one, it's called the New Castle, which was put up by Kwame Nkrumah after Ghana got independent in 1957. And where the Black Star was his office. This very Black Star was the office where Kwame Nkrumah was operating from. And this ambition you are seeing here was used by the British.
These cannons were used by the British to attack and kill locals who protested against taxes that the British tried to enforce. The locals felt that they should not be paying taxes to a foreigner, but it should be the foreigner who should be paying taxes to them. They killed all of the locals of the area and converted their site into a garden.
And this is his picture at the top there. His name was Jerry John Rawlings. He was the longest serving president of Ghana. 19 years. He started governing Ghana from 1981 to the year 2000 when he left power. So he's the longest serving president of this country. 11 years as a military leader and 8 years as a democratic leader. So when he was in power or before him, the other presidents were using the new castle. That time there was no garden. Yeah. So that's where the locals or the people we call osucastle, that was their residence, where they were staying.
You know one thing that I realized coming here to Osu Castle? That all of the castles are on water. And my husband is like, where else do you expect the castles to be? It was a transatlantic slave trade, meaning that all the slaves had to be deported by means of water. So of course all the castles would be on water. But I don't know where my mind was. I just didn't think like that. But yeah, fun fact. And now we head to the door of no return.
The other in chains and shackles, they get down just as we are doing, because the ship has arrived And for proper checking, that's why we put the staircase like this. So we are now going to the gates of no return. And also, when I was talking, I spoke about a tunnel that was built by the community where they managed to smuggle some slaves. So this is the tunnel. At first, when you enter here, you get out at the Osu traffic lights. By 1998, we had the earthquake in the castle and it got broken. So they have to block it along the way. So we go to the gates of no return that lead you to the Caribbean. Just walk through the gate of no return, and if you are a slave, you pass through this gate, it means it's finished for you. You will not return again. You lose your identity, your country, your family, everything. Some of them have not even seen a sea before, and they don't even know where the ship is taking them to. So when they get out of the gates and they see the sea waves like this, they get frightened. And in the middle of the sea, going to the ship, they just jump into the water and they die because they are in chains and shackles. They cannot even swim. And if you jump inside the water, the governors will not even come for you because a lot of slaves are there for them to bring to the ship. So
They called us slaves, but we were kings and queens long before the ships came. We ruled empires, spoke to the stars, and walked in rhythm with the ancestors. Here at Osu Castle, they chained our nobility, held our brilliance beneath stone floors, and tried to erase us. But you cannot erase what lives in the blood. We were taken from this land by force, but the memory of home never left us. It lives in our DNA, in our dreams, in the way our hearts stir when we step onto the soil. We are not tourists. We are the return. We are the prayers of our ancestors rising. And now the earth says, welcome back, child. You never truly left. Tell the children, you are not descended from slaves. You are descended from royalty that survived slavery. That is it for the tour here at Osu Castle. Our aim here at the channel is always to go on this journey of understanding more about our history and ourselves from our point of view. It was amazing that I was able to take this journey with you all. And I thank you for tuning in and watching. As always, I welcome comments. So drop a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. If this is your first time here on the channel, I want to take this opportunity to say welcome. And please consider joining the family and hitting that subscribe button before you go. I'll see y'all on the next video.